Hey Kevin, arcade is finally finished. Took forever, I know. I appreciate your patience. Get some more light in here. Hope this video is okay. My normal camera battery died on me and I can't find the damn charger, so I'm using an older camera of mine. It's not the best quality. But you see all the lights are looking good. You can't see the details, but basically this is your, everything kind of looks the same. These are white buttons, actually have little characters on them, four little men, tells you that's 4 player, 2 player, 1 player, 3 player on the outside, so 3 and 4 on the outsides. You have your miscellaneous, your credit buttons, they're all blue. This is a miscellaneous button, it's actually programmed as like enter. This is your intro video it's playing right now. Don't mean to cut you off from it. That's how now we're back. We're in the actual Hyperspin menu system. So the main things that are going to function in the Hyperspin menu system are your joystick, player one joystick, and your first button. So whenever you're navigating the menu system, you're almost always, you are exclusively only going to use this and this, your first button. Unless, and then once you get into the game systems, like if we go into Arcade Classics has a little bit extra more than the other systems where you'll use these 2 buttons. One's for favorites, where it starts in favorites menu, but you can get to all games. So there's about 1,000 games in favorites menu, but if you press this button, it's all games, and that takes you to where you have access to all 8,000 games just in Arcade Classics alone. So, and then this red button is a quit button. It's not associated with the 4-way joystick. 2 buttons here, the black buttons, we can see them, are actually for the trackball. That's your left and right mouse. Those function is anytime you play a gun game, you can use a trackball. All the Star Wars games, Arcade Classics, and then Sega Model 3 has a really great Star Wars game. All use the trackball because those old games had like almost like a an actual flight stick, like an airplane stick, where it goes left and right and yaws back and forth. Where a joystick just doesn't function, but the trackball works really well. So anyways, let's just back up. I don't have much space on this camera, so I'm going to back up, put the camera down. I'll try to speak up so it can be heard and just give you a quick demo of the whole thing. So like I mentioned here, so let's go ahead and go into Arcade Classics. So just up and down is going to move you through the menu. So I'm going to select my first fire button is going to select that. So now I'm into Arcade Classics. I'm in Donkey Kong, and now I'm into Arcade Classics. I can press right, hold it down, it gives me a D. So now I can go back and go find something a little bit faster. Because you're in your favorites menu here. I'll talk to you about that later, but all the other systems open up into all their games. But because Arcade Classics has over 8,000 games in it, I have it set up where it opens into a favorites menu I've created, which is about 1,000 games. The only reason I've created this is that you'll see all this fancy kind of menu art, videos, and the graphics. Any game that had those kind of stuff on it, I just put into a favorites menu. So you can always delete them and get rid of that stuff. So if I hit the second button here, it's gonna say view favorites. We're actually already in favorites. So now you see below it says remove from favorites. So that means this game here is already in favorites. So if I were to remove it, I'd go down, hit this button, the first button, and it'll remove it. And then I'll actually immediately say add to favorites. If I want to get out away from this, I'm going to hit the back button. It takes me back here. Now, if I want to go to all, like I mentioned before, Arcade Classics opens into the favorites menu. So you start off in your favorites menu. If I want to go find all the games, I'll hit this button. So it's just all games. The cool thing here too is it also has things categorized. Arcade Classics is the only system that does this. So I come up here and go find tennis games. What a lot of people like to do is go to the gun games. It's all your kind of light gun games. All the light gun games will use a trackball. Now, light gun games in other systems, like in Sega Model 3 or maybe a Thomas Wave or Naomi, if there's a light gun game, your mouse left and right will function. American Laser Games and Action Max, those are like a lot like film movies. I'll show you those in a second. And those all use trackball and your mouse left and right. So usually mouse left is fire and your mouse right button will be reload. But in Arcade Classics, if you go in here and play a gun game, you're most likely your buttons here, your regular action buttons are going to function as your almost every game in Arcade Classics and almost every other system. Your first fire button or your second fire button are going to be your shooting buttons. So let's back out of this. Let's go play Donkey Kong 2 real quick. So I'll press it, little pause, usually has a little brief kind of intro while it's loading up screen. So now once I'm in the game, now we hit credits. If I'm in Atari, usually this functions as like select, like player 1 or player 2. Then you'll have start or your first 2 buttons. So all the other home systems, when you start getting into trying to get to the menus and like that, either it's going to be your first 2 buttons here or your player 1 start or coin. They're going to function either like select a level, choose what color car you want. They're all a little bit different, but they're all going to use those buttons, and you'll get used to how, whichever one you're playing the most works. So now I put my credits in. I'm going to hit my player 1 start. The game starts up. Totally on OK Classics too. It saves all your favorite scores. In fact, I have some high scores I think on this just from goofing around, setting it up. Anyways, so I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. I hit the quit button. Takes you right back to the games. So now I'm still on OK Classics in the games. So I'm going to quit that. Go back to the emulator system. Now here, and I keep remembering an emulator system. I hold it off to the right or left. It's not going to bring up the letter because it's only it's not a huge list that you have to worry about. Future pinball, and there on my 2-player, I have side buttons for pinball buttons, but the 4-player I don't do that. I just have these 2 buttons will be your left and right flipper. The joystick will be a plunger, so when you pull back on the joystick, you'll see the plunger pull back, let it go, and it'll shoot the ball out. Mugen is the one funky thing, the only really weird system out of the whole bunch. And unfortunately, there's no way around it. I've asked a ton of people and everybody agrees there's no really way around this problem with Mugen. When you go to Mugen, you have to set the controls every time. It's not that difficult. And when you quit Mugen, you don't want to use the quit button over here. If you do and you get a pop-up that says, do you want to quit? You want to immediately press over your joystick to highlight yes, and then hit this button over here, which is programmed as enter. Otherwise it might kind of crash, and then you might have to power the whole thing down. Usually not, but a lot of times it doesn't matter. I think it's certain games in here where if you do that, it might kind of crash things, you might have to power down, power back up. Now, just to show you this real quick, you can always call and ask me. But so when you come into Mugen, the only buttons and things that are working are your joystick and your 2, and actually this over here is programmed as enter. So you're going to need that. So you're going to be using the second button and the enter button and this joystick. So when you're in here, you can see right here, single player, exit. So whenever you're playing a game, you basically want to, when you die, it'll bring you back to here, and you want to choose exit to quit to go back to hyperspin. If you end up hitting the quit button here, over here you'll get that little pop-up, left on the joystick, select yes. But here I'm going to show you real quick how to program the controls for Mugen. So you're going to go to options, come down to input config. I'm still using the second button here. Key config, config all, it's for player 1. If you're playing 2 players, you would do that one separately. So now this doesn't function, so I got to come over here and hit enter. So now I'm just going to be pressing up, down, left, right, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, player 1, start. Now I'm good. So all I'm set up how I want it. So I'm going to go select exit. Remember, I don't want to hit back. Don't ever hit this. If you hit this, it'll quit. And the thing with Mugen, when you set the controls, they're good. I can play this game, die, and start up again, put more credits in, play some more. But once I exit out of it and go back to the menu system and come back in, all these settings, all these control settings I set are gone. You got to redo it every time. And that's just Mugen. Everything else is, you're fine. Options, turn in the menu, and now I'm going to go and start again. Hit my second button too, that still functions as the kind of main select button. So I'll show you here, because the problem is when you're in the middle of a game, maybe you don't want to wait for it to
Your
die.
guidance comes from our Father.
Get ready. Fight.
So normally what would be best is to let yourself die, but I don't want to wait, so I'm going to hit the quit button. So watch when I hit the quit button. Maybe this will quit for me. Huh? Okay, well, normally most of the games, you'll get a little warning. So for that particular game, it's not a problem. But most of these games in Mugen, you're going to get that warning. The only game in Mugen that you don't have to program the buttons is Terradrome, which is a pretty cool game. It's all the horror characters from like the 80s, like Jason versus Freddy, and I don't know. And you don't have to program the buttons in that. You just start it up, play a game, select your guys. Don't ever do story mode unless you get one to do story mode. But anyways, let's back out of that. So here's all back into the emulator system, all your different game systems: Nintendo GameCube, 64, Virtual Boy. Virtual Boy's 3D. Actually, I'm going to supply you with some 3D glasses. It'll come with it. I'll put those inside the box here where the PC is. ScumVM is all children's games, and it all will use trackball, and the left and right mouse buttons. It's basically trying to make it as simple as possible for kids. So I'm going to show you the Sega Model 3. Star Wars is in here, so I'm going to press my first action button, select it. Here's the game I want to play. Press my first action button to start it. So now I'm in it. It's probably going to want credits. I'm going to add credits once it gets there. So now I'm in it. It's probably going to want credits. So I'm going to add credits. There you go. So a lot of times you would think, oh, I got to hit player one star to here, but actually now, because it's trackball oriented, I'm going to hit the fire button to select which level I want to go to. And the volume's real low, let's crank it up. Quit button, boom, takes you right back to the main menu. Everything's good. So sometimes maybe if you move too fast, or maybe some game maybe just didn't like you quitting at a certain spot in the game, you might get a little warning window that says, you know, Windows didn't like that. Do you want to send a message to Windows or whatever? That's when you can usually see the cursor, then you can select the mouse to go up and use the button, or you can just come over and hit enter on that, and it's like pressing the little button that it wants to press, and then it'll go away, and then you'll be back in hyperspin, and all will be fine. So don't worry about that if you ever see that. Here's the Action Max and American Laser Games, like I mentioned before. See, they're kind of like movies. They film these movies, and then they made these shooting games. These are light gun games, so the trackball and the left and right mouse buttons will work there. Okay, I don't want to go too much into it because it could go on forever and ever and ever and ever. But that's the gist. Everything's looking good. I don't know if I did show you the speaker and talked about that. It's your volume control inputs. The power is a power button on the side here. You probably can't see it. You just press this little button. It'll turn the PC on. There's a setting. It'll start up Windows, but you won't see that. It'll go right into hyperspin. And then at the end, when you quit, see, would you like to exit? So when you say yes, it'll power everything down. And that's how I'll have it set up initially. Now I do have some shortcuts, like I know your brother wants to get in, maybe add Minecraft or do some, get back into the user interface and add some different things or whatever. So to prevent that, I have it set up to where if you hit player one start and player two last button, button number 8, it tells the computer Control-Alt-Delete. That'll bring up Task Manager. You can select Task Manager. You can highlight Hyperspin and end task on, quit Hyperspin, and that won't shut the PC down, and that'll take you to Windows. But right now I don't have that set up, so right now if I quit, it's just going to take me to Windows. So we're back at Windows. So that's the breakdown. Everything looks really good. I think you'll be really happy We just need to arrange the final payment and then shipping, and hopefully you'll have it within the week. And if you have any questions, feel free to call me. I know you will. So I will talk to you then.